What I thought I'd talk to you about today is what's happening in the markets and two big mistakes that I'm seeing people are making right now. You probably have heard recently, if you've been paying attention, for example, to what the mainstream financial news media is saying, and I don't understand why you would, but here's the thing. People have been saying on the financial news media, which by the way is really a bunch of garbage, but on the financial news media, you probably have heard they've been saying that the reason why the markets, the stock markets have been dropping recently is because of the rising cases of the COVID situation or because of the rising cases of the virus. Now look, I'm not trying to say to you that the virus situation is not serious. It is serious. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there's no correlation between rising cases of the virus and a falling stock market. So this is a very dangerous assumption, which again, people are making over and over again. It's like people have not learned a single lesson from what's happened over the last few months. Since the markets bottomed in March and rallied significantly higher, over 60%, COVID cases have been rising. They haven't been falling, they've been rising, okay? So again, I don't understand how financial news media come up with this assumption that because the markets are dropping recently, oh, it's because of the virus, because virus cases are going up. This is a complete miscalculation and it's a wrong assumption. And in case you're wondering why financial news media is saying this nonsense, the reason is that there is a significant portion of the population who want a sophisticated story to explain things to them, okay? Guys, I think it's a very human thing. We human beings want explanations, okay? We want to know why things are happening in a certain way. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why is the sky blue? Why is the market dropping? Why is it going up? So basically the mainstream media, the financial news media, what they try to do on television is try to explain to that 95% of people out there who have no clue about charts, no clue about how the market works, and they try to say to them, oh, the markets are dropping because of this so-and-so reason. Or the markets are going up because of this so-and-so reason. All right, guys? And people believe that nonsense because, again, remember, we're speaking about people who have no clue about the markets, no clue about technicals or charts or something like that. The markets are not going up and down because of some fundamentals or some news events. The number one thing which drives the markets is emotion, psychology, the irrational behavior of traders and investors, human beings, okay? So our human behavior is what causes the ups and downs in the markets. Guys, do you remember in the month of March when the markets were crashing? Everybody was scared. I was saying that I'm getting bullish on the markets. I was saying back in late March that I was buying into the market. I was getting into the stock markets on the cheap. But again, a lot of people out there were saying I was crazy that I was buying into the stock market. They were saying, hey, how can you be bullish when there's a pandemic out there? Guys, remember, we have to do the opposite of the herd, and especially the financial news media, who are the voice of the herd. So guys, remember, the reason why the markets were crashing in March had very little to do with the virus itself, but it had everything to do with fear. It was the fear of uncertainty, the panic that was gripping the market, okay? Right now, the mainstream media is saying to people, again, the financial news media is saying to people that the reason why the markets are dropping, oh, it's because of the rising case of the virus and things like that. Again, nonsense. Remember, we've had one of the biggest rallies in history, 60% rally in the stock market during rising cases of the virus, not falling cases of the virus. So again, I'm saying this because the mistake we should try and avoid is not fall into this assumption or this trap that because cases of the virus are rising, therefore it's a bad time to go into the market. Absolute nonsense. Right now, we're going into what's called the Halloween effect. Now, I know it sounds made up, but it's true. There is something called the Halloween effect in regards to the markets, in regards to stock markets. I would also say the same thing for Bitcoin as well. Now, what is the Halloween effect? Typically between the period of October to December, there's often this bullish period between October 31st, October to December. Again, that's why it's called the Halloween effect, because it starts around about Halloween, about now, really. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that right now is the best time to get into the markets. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that this period, this 3-month period or 2-month period from October to December, seasonally and cyclically, and statistically usually has a bullish bias. It tends to be a very strong period for both stock markets and, yes, for Bitcoin as well. As you can see from this chart, seasonally, October to December also tends to be a good period for Bitcoin as well. And by the way, let me say this, the month of December is probably going to be the strongest month in this period because December has what's called the Santa Claus effect, the Santa Claus rally. So that means potentially on the balance of probabilities, any weakness, any major downturn in the markets, and perhaps also Bitcoin as well, can potentially be a buying opportunity for those markets. So again, personally, based on the Halloween effect, I'm actually getting ready to buy into the stock market again at some specific levels in the next couple of months. That means this, the one thing that I'm going to do with regards to television or financial news media is doing this, essentially turning it off or just smashing it to pieces because again, I don't need that financial news toilet paper, which is essentially what it is. Guys, remember, there are two kinds of information. Information for the masses and information for the classes. And again, if you want to know what is information for the classes, then pay attention to the charts. Pay attention to the price action. Trust the price action. Forget fundamentals mumbo jumbo and financial news garbage. Trust the price action. Trust the charts. Look at what the charts are saying. As Bernard Baruch once said, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news.